Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again. I'm your host, Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-host Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, Christopher G. Mohr, and myself will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we're reviewing COBWEB, a film that went briefly theatrical, and you probably missed it, but it's now streaming on Hulu beginning October 20th, 2023. Oh, we're excited to do this, but before we get into it, let me introduce my crew, starting off with Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm good.
Wow,
I'm fantastic.
What a nice pregnant pause that was.
I had some really stupid things going through my mind, and I decided not to say any of them. So.
There was about 10 of them just zipped around in there.
Yeah, they just went flying through. Nope. I'm good.
Also joining this week is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl. How you doing?
I'm fabulous. I'm
absolutely
in the basement of my house.
Better than behind the
I do have wallpaper too, but I don't have any holes.
Not that creepy ass wallpaper in this show. Holy crap. That's the creepiest wallpaper.
Mine has skulls on it though.
Well, that's better. That's a little bit more. This one didn't, and it was far creepier than skulls. Anyway, we're going to get into reviewing COBWEB. We're going to give you our first impressions. Those first impressions will be spoiler free. And then we'll get into a discussion about it. And we will get into spoilers, and there are some spoilers.
Yes.
This is a heavy spoiler. There's a lot of mystery in the horror here. And then we'll wrap things up with a score 1 to 5 and our favorite scene.
Yes.
All right. And we hope you enjoy not only this review, but many others that we have on the site. And if you do, please hit the like, subscribe, share with a friend buttons. Each click will help us find more horror fans just like you. And we're very excited about that. All right, let's take a look at the card and get things going. Badoom. All right, COBWEB 2023, streaming now on Hulu beginning October 20th, 2023. Synopsis is an 8-year-old boy tries to investigate mysterious knocking sounds that are coming from inside the walls of his house, unveiling a dark secret that his sinister parents have kept hidden from him. It is directed by Samuel Bodin and written by Chris Thomas Devlin. The cast includes Lizzy, Caplan, Antony, Starr, Cleopatra, Coleman, Woody Norman, and Luke Busey.
Yeah, good job.
Yes. That's 100% on that one.
Yep.
A rarity in this case. All right. Let's get into our first impressions. And Crystal Cleveland, we'll start off with you.
Okay, so I went into this film not knowing anything about it. I had just heard that it was good. I had literally not heard a single thing about this film. I didn't even realize Lizzy Caplan was in it. I saw this actually a couple of months ago, I think it was but I rewatched it again. And I enjoyed it just as much. But I will say, when I went in with no expectations, none of that, I just remember really just my mind was kind of blown. I think Lizzy and the Homelander dude and the boy
it took me a while
are excellent. Yeah. They do an excellent job in their roles. I think all the acting is fine. I do think there are some issues with the story. Okay, I will say that. Like there's some things that just are kind of weird and kind of odd that should not have been written exactly the way that they were. However, I love that this is a Halloween movie. It is set during Halloween. There's pumpkins. I really love Halloween films. That actually gives you little extra points in my book. I think the story is creepy. I think it's got good misdirection. It's got some good gore. It's got a couple good scares. And so it's not the greatest or the scariest, but I think it's a good, solid movie, and I would watch it again. So I had a good time with this one. Yeah,
good. It was a good time.
Yeah,
watching people get their heads ripped off. All right, Jeff Mohr, how you doing, sir? What was your first impression of COBWEB?
Well, I hadn't looked it up before. I knew Lizzy Caplan looked familiar, but I just realized she was Annie Wilkes in the
Castle Rock.
Castle Rock series that was on for a couple seasons. And I'm kind of a fan of Cleopatra Coleman ever since, I don't know, Doc, if you remember this, but early on we did a movie called Hover. She was in that. It was a really, really low budget sci-fi thing. And she was the lead in that. And also in The Shadow of the Moon and Infinity Pool.
Oh,
Infinity Pool,
wow.
Infinity Pool.
I like her a lot, so I was glad to see her in this. All right. I didn't know anything about this except our good buddy Chad Hunt said he really liked it. So I kind of went in with sort of a positive attitude because I trust Chad, and I was not disappointed. I enjoyed it. They up to a point, they play the, I'm not going to show you too much. What's scary is what you can't see and what you imagine. And that kind of stuff works for me. And all these weird little hidden doors in this house, and I mean little doors
so
in
weird.
This house was very weird. So it was hard to get a handle on what was going on. You knew something was seriously messed up. The people, the mother and father, did not act normal.
No.
at all. So I kind of like the way it played out. So I don't know. I enjoyed the whole idea of it, and there was a couple of things that they used in terms of we're not doing spoilers yet. So there was a I don't know. I liked it. And I found it just a little bit disturbing and uneased. I was tense.
Tense is a good word for it. I enjoyed it. I've been a fan of Lizzy Caplan since Cloverfield 2000.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. But Masters of Sex, she was incredibly good in that. And that's not a horror show by any stretch of the imagination, but she was incredibly good. She's a fantastic actress, and and she's incredibly unnerving in this particular role. She plays it so off kilter. It kind of shakes you, the way she talks and the way she delivers and her body language. It's just, and of course Antony Starr as well. And it took me when I first saw him, because he's brunette in this. He's not blonde, so
he looks so much better as a brunette.
I was like, I recognize the face, but I have no idea who it is. And then it came to me that it was Homelander. So that was surprising. But I want to say that the kid in this is, I mean, it kind of relies on him being really good. Woody Norman, and he really, really takes a lot on his shoulders for this film and does an admirable, amazing job. I think I really enjoyed him. Of course, Cleopatra Coleman is good, and I really enjoyed this. I'm a fan of the director, Samuel Bodin. He did a TV show called Marianne that was on Netflix. That was 2000, and it was 4 years
19.
ago. Yeah. So and it's one of my favorite horror TV shows that Mike Flanagan didn't direct.
Agreed.
So and I think his tone and everything's in here. I think the only thing that kind of goes against this is what Crystal was saying, is that some of the script isn't quite 100%, but everything else is, including the cobweb thingy.
Yeah.
Whatever, I don't want to give it away here.
You don't want to give anything away. No.
But they're, oh man, some of the visuals in this, even the simple visuals, like just with a whole bunch of like alternating Dutch angles at the same time and everything, really just keep you off center. And it does a great job of, making you wonder what the hell's going on. Are their parents loony? Are they crazy? Is it just from the perspective of the kid? Is there something else going on? Are they, what the hell's happening? And so I was drawn in the entire time. I was not disappointed by any of the reveals, and there is a certain element of this. Of course, it is all Halloween oriented, which the whole pumpkins in the backyard is like,
I
who has
loved
pumpkins like
that.
that in their backyard? But I loved it.
But you know what? Let me tell you, that's
Yep.
easy to do. If you accidentally leave a pumpkin to rot,
It'll
trust
grow a
me.
whole bunch of pumpkins. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
you'll be overrun with, because
Overrun.
like they rot, and then the pumpkin seeds, and then if you have deer and things, they eat it and then they poop them out in different parts of the freaking yard.
And
Yeah.
the next thing you know,
And that's where you get mounts.
So it's
but
not that crazy. I know it seems crazy.
it seems absolutely nuts, but it the visual of it is
so cool.
So it made everything that was creepy creepier. It was really
Mhm.
really a wonderful element of it. But anyway, this movie captivated me. The reveals I thought were fantastic. And again, like the only shaky thing is part of the script. Not all of it. There are elements of it that are fantastic, but
so I can tell you, for me, one of the things that bothered me was the way they wrote the teacher. She was completely out of line, and it is not anything. I get it. They were weird and they were creepy, but it's completely unethical, completely out of line. I just feel like the teacher came off as being unhinged. Granted, we knew something was going on. So from our perspective, I guess we're supposed to accept it, but no, it's completely unacceptable.
Yeah, and they even sold that point in the movie with the conversation she had with the principal. So
yeah, it's really not okay. Like, and it's not acceptable. And no teacher come on. Like, there's a point where you have to go, I'm crazy, not them. And I get it, because, there's actually, I hate when movies use this as a plot device, because we know what's going on. We're supposed to accept that people are acting unhinged, but I don't buy that, and I don't think it's okay. Yeah. So I liked the actress, but I think they wrote the character just.
Yeah, it would have been. I don't know how you would do it a little bit more naturally, or a little or less in I mean, having the teacher be concerned in the classroom was great, but actually showing up at the house was a little stretched it. I agree with you.
And then again, it's like, okay, no, lady.
Although it did create a really interesting scene with her and the husband and the hammer. But that I was wondering what was going to happen.
Banging.
I was sure that hammer was going to end up in the skull. It didn't, but I was sure it was. But the boys, the cousins of the young boy that got
I loved
showing up. It's a little forced, but at the same time,
they pushed him.
They were bullies.
Pushed him down the stairs.
Yeah. They were bullies.
And he broke his arm. So you've got
his leg.
Or leg, or sorry, but I can buy that, because he clearly comes from a bad family, and they're bullies because the way he treated. So I'm like, well, I can buy that. Actually, what would have been, I think, better is I don't know that I find it odd that they would just come to his house and assume that he's alone and stuff. He's 8 years old. I think that's where I see, and this is where there's a deficit in the writing. They wouldn't assume that. And let me tell you, come on, kids, come to my house, you little punk ass bitches. Like, I dare some little punks like that to come up to my house, and try to threaten me or threaten my kids, because we would have a problem.
We'd have a
real problem. Yeah. So, like, it's shocking to me that they would do that, considering that they're just children as well.
Yeah. But we needed a body count. We needed a body count, and it provided a body count.
I was happy with that. Yeah. I was happy with that. Yeah. But no, if you're leaving an 8-year-old boy alone, I don't even think that's legal at night. So I have a problem.
Yeah, of course it is.
Is it?
How is it? There's no legality on that. It's
of course there is. It's the maturity of the child. There's absolutely legality about leaving your children at a certain age. They can't be. There's a certain age limit. Absolutely, Jeff. You can't leave your children alone at like I actually think it's like, because
Not back in the 70s and 80s. It wasn't. But
yeah,
nowadays
I'm
it is.
like, oh, absolutely, it is. Like, for sure. I don't know what the age limit is, but I do know. I think they do it based on the maturity of the child. But if this child is painting these pictures and things like that, and all this kind of stuff, yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that'll be
Iowa
wrong.
has no minimum age set for when a child can be left alone.
That's disgusting.
Yep.
So
No, they would get
They
hit.
can-
They would still get hit with child abandonment or not taking, whatever those charges are.
They would
It
have
just
Okay,
isn't an
so
automatic thing
wellness
because of
visits
your
in.
age.
in Georgia, it's 9. So you
Okay.
cannot do that here. Thank God. Because let me tell
But he
you,
was 10. He was a 10-year-old, not a.
it says 8 on the
Oh, does it?
synopsis.
Oh yeah, you're right. It does say 8. Forgive me. You're right.
So you're wrong. I'm right. And he shouldn't have been left alone at 8 years old. That's disgusting.
But
in
he wasn't.
Illinois,
But he
in
wasn't left
Illinois,
alone.
but they assumed he was left alone.
Right.
In Illinois, it's 14. That's a little old, but let me see. I think that's a little old.
But regardless, let's get back to the movie anyway.
Still, an 8-year-old.
What did you guys think of the poisoning? The whole, it tastes like cinnamon.
Think of the what?
I
Oh,
like that
yeah.
part.
I thought it was great. I
did like it. But dear God, he just decides to kill his parents.
Well, I think he was coerced, but yes.
But see, here's where I have an issue. I'm like, I get it. She convinced him to do this, but I'm like, Jesus. Okay, so I get it. Them putting him in the basement is crazy too. Like they're clearly unhinged, but I don't know.
Well, it all happened. It does seem a little fast. I could see how he could get to that point, but it all happens in a week, right? I think the opening scene is 1 week before Halloween, it says, or something like that. So it all happens within a week. So in a week, and the kid goes from, and apparently he's had a lot of problems with noises and stuff because his parents are not particularly patient with him,
Well, he's definitely not a social person because he's very
and he's not
incredibly introverted at school, so which leads to him being, picked on, unfortunately. So,
but
that's weird, yeah.
But they were their performances were so.
But why do you think they were so weird with him? Like, okay, here's the thing. I get it. They had this child and it was a problem and stuff, but like.
And it killed the little girl next door.
Well,
yeah.
they had to bury
No, she did.
I thought the parents killed her.
No, that's what
I
she
thought the girl
said.
did.
The girl did. Yeah, no, Jeff, you're right. The girl did. She lied to the brother. That's why they locked her away, because she killed the girl. And they're like, okay, this is it.
But she lies to the brother and says the parents killed her. Yeah.
Yes, and she knew where she was buried and everything, but that's what she did. Doc, come on.
And that's why the parents are so weird about
I missed that.
And the mother totally freaks out when the teacher never even said to send the kid to an institution. Did the teacher go out of bounds?
I'm not going to abandon my
She just goes, she has a fit almost. Well, it's because they've been keeping this other horrible thing in the house for how many years? 8.
Is it human though? I don't even understand. I wish we had more. Yeah. So that's
the thing. Tells him that it all these years, that's how it learned to climb and crawl and claw and bite and all this.
But the way it changes his voice and stuff, the way you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't.
It does not seem human. But
there's something supernatural about it.
And I'm okay with it not being human. I'm totally cool with that. I actually love the idea of it not being completely human. But I wish we had I think there were some plot holes here that could have been filled in. I think the story could have been a little bit more developed. I think this movie could have been just mind-blowingly good had they done a few little things.
Setting up COBWEB, the origin.
No.
Jeff. See?
No.
I would watch it.
I would too, but no.
Yeah. But see, that would explain a lot. I'd really, yeah, because I mean, they raised this thing for apparently long enough for it to murk someone on Halloween. We have another Halloween. I'm here for that, Jeff. Okay. I'm here for that. And they can redeem some of the issues too.
I love the shots of it climbing around on the walls and on the ceiling, and the
See,
hair
okay,
being
and
so
that's what I'm
long.
saying.
The hair,
come on,
the hair,
and come
wow.
on. Let's be real. Even if how do you climb on the ceiling? I don't care if you've been living underground or whatever. Come on. That's what I'm saying. It's
There's
not
got to be
like
a little supernatural. A little bit.
I need a little bit more. I need some.
But I liked him using the hair to climb up out of the pit.
Oh, me too. That's
that whole thing was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes because I was like, oh yeah, that's clever. Like, but it's interesting that she did seem like she was going to keep her brother alive, which is good, I guess. I guess she did have some sort of affinity for her brother. So that's something, I guess, because she could have taken him out. Instead, she locked him up. Yep. I don't know. I would love to know some motivations as far as what I don't know. There's a lot. It was just, you need to, let me just tell y'all viewers out there, you're going to have to kind of let some of that go. Because there's a lot to think about with this movie, but the acting is good. If you just kind of let that go, you'll just enjoy it and just have a good time.
Yeah, I didn't think about any of that when I was watching it. I was just the whole, what the hell's going on and what is this thing that's talking to him through the wall?
I feel like I'm picking on it more than these are the things that could have made it excellent, but it's not bad, even as much as I'm kind of nitpicking the story. I'm just like, but seriously, don't leave your kids alone if they're too young.
Don't do it.
Cheese and rice, right. Iowa.
Well,
what is wrong with you, Iowa? No age? That's insane to me. That's so scary.
That doesn't mean that that's okay for people to do that. There are other laws in place, like child neglect, child abandonment, or putting your kids in danger. I don't know what they all are.
But then if they don't have a law, then how do they determine? Well, they're like, well, my child is 8 years old.
It's written into the other laws, I'm sure.
There you go. Well, we're not lawyers. We're not politicians. We are horror enthusiasts. So let's go ahead.
We could write a whole horror movie on this.
I know. Let's wrap this up. Let's give our score 1 to 5 and choose our favorite scene. Crystal, you are up first.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 3.5, and
my one.
Yeah, God, I see why Jeff complains about Iowa all the time now. That just blows my mind for some reason. And I'm going to there's actually quite a few. This is why the movie is better than what you think. Okay, like I know we hacked on it, but there's quite a few scenes I could mention, but one that sticks out to me the most is it's effed up when Lizzie's dying and she's like vomiting blood and she's like, don't let her out.
Yeah. Yes, that was a great scene.
That's when you realize what the heck? Because like I said, I read nothing, knew nothing going in. I was like, okay, well, you could kind of think maybe something's creepy, but you don't know because the parents are so creepy. It's good misdirection. I think so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there were everybody was messed up. Everybody, there was just a whole lot of messed up going on.
There's a whole lot of messed up.
But that was because she's all mangled too, and she's holding.
Yeah, and I felt so bad. I'm like, cheese and rice, kid. You just woof.
Impressionable young minds. All right, Jeff, what is your score in? What's your favorite scene?
Well, first I want to point out the bully kid at school is Gary Busey's son.
Oh, yes, that's even better. Yes.
I looked it up because I thought he must be
Busey.
Too young, but
that's what you said. Yeah, you said Luke. Okay, that's awesome.
Jake's half brother. Anyway, so I enjoyed this. As far as favorite scenes, long hair doesn't gross me out, but hair in drains grosses me out.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that hair was gross.
Yeah,
and there's spiders crawling around in it. There was like spider nests in the hair.
Okay. Okay, Jeff.
And so when I saw the hair, it was gross. So I'm going to take the one. Geez, I would take that one where he's trying to pull her back, and then. But I'm going to say when I first saw the hair, which is when the sister or whatever it is drapes it over the piano.
Yeah.
And entices the other guy over, and when he gets over there to grab it, she pulls him under, and all you see is a big splash of blood come out. Yes. I'm like, whoa, I guess he's done with.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, he was. We get to see him later. And he cut in half, or is that a different one?
So I'm giving it a.
I think that's the other one with the head off. Wait.
No,
yeah, that's another one later.
One got decapitated.
One got decapitated. One got disemboweled, I think, or something.
Oh yeah, or cut in half. I couldn't tell.
I think maybe Luke got cut in half.
Well, somebody was cut in half because the teacher crawled in between the two parts.
Now that teacher had a pretty stout disposition, because she didn't even flinch walking by those dismembered bodies.
And I was so glad she was there, and I loved her. I just wish they had written that her motivations a little bit differently,
Well, I think she was a substitute or new. Anyway, I'm going to give this, I'm waffling a little bit here. I'm going to go 3.75.
Good.
I'm thinking 4, but I'm going 3.7.
Oh, wow.
All right.
3.75.
Well, all right. Perfect. I'm a huge fan of this director since Marianne, and I think this is, from a director's point of view, I think he did a fantastic job with this. Yeah, I think most of our issues are with that the script kind of is just slightly underbaked. Not atrociously, just enough to make you go, So I'm giving it a 4. I thoroughly enjoyed this. And I enjoyed the carnage at the end. Just was a great payoff. And I wasn't sure. I thought it was going to be a little more subtle at that point, because
I was really
because the parents didn't die all that. It was somewhat gruesome, but it wasn't as gruesome as what happens to those boys.
Yeah, I'm switching to 4 too, because I'm thinking about every time somebody walked into the kitchen and saw blood all over the kitchen from the father puking. It was like, what the
it was but they would step over the blood from the other one, and and not even.
Well, she hid the body. Okay, see, she hid the body so fast. Too.
Oh, that was so good.
Superhumanly fast. Okay, yeah.
So
I get it.
I'm giving it a 4. We didn't talk about this, and I usually hate dream sequences. That are just there. It. But there's a dream sequence of this that they do so well. And you already think these parents are off, and then the dream sequence just kind of like takes that to 1,000. With the father being in the corner doing some kind of freaky wickedy stuff with his eyelids, and then you see he goes like, look what you did to your mother, right? And he looks down the hallway, and she's got these long ass fingers and stuff, and her eyes are glowing, and the lights go out, and you hear her running down the hall, but he doesn't.
Yes.
And then she eventually does come screaming out. I liked it. I
did too, and I usually don't like dream sequences either, and I think that one was really successful.
Yeah, because when of course we got established he was having nightmares in the first place, but they didn't. That's the only nightmare we got to see, really, right? We didn't really get to see him, so they didn't overplay it. So
nope.
And and thank God they didn't do a nightmare inside of a nightmare, because that really pisses me off. But this one was just to creep you out. It wasn't a jump scare, although it did have a jump scare. It wasn't made to be just a jump scare. It was to freak you out. And it did. But I do want to point out that there's a number of times when you're questioning the parents and their motives, and every time you do that, the director tilts the camera like a Dutch angle, but he doesn't. It's not just a Dutch angle. He actually moves it, and then sometimes he'll move it from one side to the other. and it just really sells the weirdness of the dynamic of this family. It just really, so great,
Yeah,
great
they
visuals.
almost seem like masks of parents,
Mhm.
Well, I was wondering, because I was questioning what was really going on.
Okay, I'm sure our listeners care about this, but there are 36 or 37 states that have no minimum age requirement.
Dear God,
But it
what
does say,
on earth?
It is important to note that even if a state doesn't have a specific minimum age requirement, parents can still be charged with neglect or endangerment.
Yes.
If the child is left alone. So
good.
Right. Well, that's our public service announcement for the day. All right.
what state do you want to live in?
We hope you enjoyed this movie. Check this movie out. It's on Hulu. And let us know what you think about down below. And check out Marianne. It's on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Be sad there's another season, but it's so good.
Ooh.
Probably got to see both first.
Jeff, Crystal, thank you for joining me. This is a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us. This was fun.
Thanks.
All right, let's say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Gruesome Magazine.